All right, so I know my first video showed my nostrils a lot, and I apologize for that, but like I said, this is my first time, and there's gonna be mistakes along the way, and the people that stay here, you're going to see the evolution that takes place in me during this channel. And so camera angle is number one. Rewatching that video, I'm like, oh boy, yep, there goes the first rookie mistake that B has made on this channel. But you know what, it is what it is. I really like that video, I really like that message, so make sure to check that out. Second time around, I'm already feeling more comfortable. Hold on just a second here. I'm already feeling a lot more comfortable. I feel lighter, I feel comfortable, like, okay, like this is, I know I'm capable of this. So it's kind of a similar topic to the first video. So we will see where this goes. Hold on just a second. I got more people coming. Were you able to find it?
I'm traveling this way. Hey, the old slave dog.
Dude, I don't know, man. It looks a little suspect, I'll tell you that. You too. This is a beautiful area, guys. There's really, you can tell people are really focused on their center here, and I'm really glad God brought me to this place. So I kind of want to be a little bit more focused on this topic, a little bit more focused on self-realization. You know, we're the more comfortable I get, the more, you know, I stop rambling on, and which is natural and organic, and sometimes it really needs to happen. I am very appreciative of that last video that I posted. But you know, this channel is based around a lot of themes around self-realization. That is contemplating your ego and analyzing your tendencies is a way, it is the best form of spiritual practice, in my opinion. Like, at least, you know, I don't want to sound ignorant. It's the best spiritual practice for me. Contemplation is something that it just happens to me organically. I've been doing it since high school, and I didn't even realize till not too long ago, like that is a form of spiritual practice. Like, that is, you know, so if you find a problem sometimes being consistent with prayer and meditation, if you just contemplate, like, you're always just thinking about the grand scheme of things, you're thinking about your actions, like, that is a spiritual practice. That is ingrained in a lot of religions. It's just not as popular, right? Because it doesn't have the cool look. You know, you're not sitting and your back straight and closing your eyes and oming your way to enlightenment. But, you know, contemplation is absolutely a very significant spiritual practice. Well, let's get into the topic. Are you developing feelings for somebody? Are you becoming very infatuated with somebody? Maybe it's at your job, you know, at the gym, at some event you go to. Is that one of you? Because I'm speaking to these people, or any single person that has even had it in the past, that this message could wake up to some realization. But yeah, if that's you, or that was you, but mostly for the people that, you know, if it's you right now, good luck. Hold on. It's gonna get messy. It's gonna get very, very, very messy. And as you probably are experiencing, it's gonna get messy very quickly. But it's important, and I know, like, at the end of the day, you just wish this time around, like, you could be developing something for somebody, and this is the one. This is it. But if you haven't noticed, every time this happens to you, you're probably noticing a significant period of growth afterwards. Even if the happily ever after doesn't happen, which it usually doesn't happen for most of us that understand what these messages are talking about. It's usually the vessel that you are infatuated with. You have to check are you truly interested, like, in this individual? Or is part of you a dopamine addict? Now, life is not black and white. It doesn't have to be one or the other, but you have to ask yourself and really discern within yourself, do you genuinely have interest in being with this person that you probably don't even know very much of, that you are probably romanticizing to a significant degree? You're playing all the imaginations. We know how this goes. We know how insane this can get very, very quickly. So you have to check within yourself, because our mind loves ideas, and we love projecting ideas onto people, because the mind doesn't always like reality. And be conscious of what is arising in you as this continues to keep happening. I know it sucks, it hurts. Most of this is, there's like that high, there's like the beginning, right? Where like you're experiencing levels of dopamine that you've probably never even experienced before. You're feeling that rush, and then, you make the move and it's not what you want to hear. They have a partner, not interested, whatever. And that's when the crashing starts to begin, right? And what really builds that friction is that you can't move on from them right away. You're like, why doesn't this make sense? Like, they don't want me, so let me just, let's just take the Band-Aid off. It's like, do you understand what you've been doing for the last couple weeks, the last couple months? Your mind has built up such a layered imagination that now it's all coming to crumble down. Like that's not going to happen overnight. That's just not going to go away overnight. Like, if you're really conscious of the intensity that has been happening with this individual over an extended period of time, you have to be a little bit honest with yourself and give yourself some grace that it's just not going to go away overnight. Once that reality hits and you realize the truth that it's not going to happen, like, now the dissolution starts. Now the wearing out process begins, and that's very hard. Trust me, guys. I feel inspired to talk about this because this has happened many times in my life, but lately, this is just something that needs to be said, and I know a lot of people need to hear it. Be conscious of what arises in you as all this is happening. You know what's a big one that's probably happening for most of you? Insecurity. Right? God sends these vessels. He sends these vessels with a bunch of spiritual minerals, right? A lot of ingredients to really make you look at yourself. And, it's like there's two things going on. There's your ego, like just saying all the most horrible and obsessive things about yourself and constantly thinking about them, and you're still doing the imagining and whatever else. But then it's like there's that presence that's like pointing you. It has like a big finger, and it's just looking at yourself. Like you're looking, look at this, look at everything that you've been suppressing. Look at all these things you still feel about yourself. That finger that feels like it's pointing to you, that conscious finger that God is really making you look in that mirror and really analyze yourself. Yeah, it's uncomfortable. That's why most people really don't like having crushes. They can't articulate that. They can't articulate why they really don't like having interest. They think it's just, I can't have them. I feel bad about it now. No, it's because these things are designed to make you look at yourself in a way you don't want to look at yourself. I thought I was very honest and self-aware with myself, especially the last year. But this recent situation, I can't even tell you how humbling this has been. What this individual their essence has been backed with to make me look at very uncomfortable things. It started to make me realize just how resentful I've been of my life, of my current life situation, how I'm truly not where I want to be. It's brought it out in a way, and it's always going to do that through love. It's always going to bring it out the most through your interest in another vessel. your interest in someone you find very, very beautiful, you know, and it has shown me insecurities about myself to a very uncomfortable level that I genuinely don't even feel like I've experienced to this degree for at least a couple years, you know. But you have to be conscious of this. Don't try and suppress that. That's where the problem begins. Don't try and suppress these insecurities that are being brought up for you to look at. I know your mind is very focused on the results. I want the girl, can't get the girl. Life sucks. Everything sucks, right? But the more you contemplate, the more you sit with this, you realize, like, wait a minute. It feels like God is really breaking me down and stretching me to look at myself, to look at life in ways that I've never looked at it before. It feels like this is nothing but a trigger to understand myself to a deeper degree. And once you start to begin to understand that that is the actual purpose of what is happening, that is why you are sent. You know, you are usually sent people that you start developing feelings for. Like, once you realize, you know, and you're not going to realize that right away all the time, you know. Anyone that connects with this, you know, you've had many experiences of this before, and you really, you know, there's that human process that you just can't escape, you know. This is real human raw emotions. And so you have to give yourself grace that there's a suffering period that you can't escape from. As we get older, you know, it goes away faster. You know, this what I'm talking about. Oh boy, like 6 years ago, like it lasted for 8 months. It lasted for literally 8 months. You know, this girl was on my dorm floor, and like I was just absolutely going insane. I wasn't sleeping. But that was like an 8 month. That was the entire school year. That was all I was going through. It was just my mind, you know. It's, you know, some higher nature was, you know, it just wasn't as developed. It wasn't seeped in to my vessel enough at that time, you know. You're young, you know, still young, but at that point I was very young, you know. So it was just mind chatter. I can't have her, can't, you know, I want her, I can't do it, I can't, you know, and that's it, you know. But now it's like you have a little bit more experience, and you're like, nah. I've had my little period. I took it personally. I cried, suffered, whatever I have to do, whatever this human body wants to do. But now I have to take a look at it from, you know, from a conscious perspective. What is God trying to teach me in this situation? Sorry, excuse me. I am still, you know, the rainstorm is passing. You know, the rain is dying down, so I'm still a little bit in the thick of it. But now that I'm kind of coming down from all the mind chatter, it's like I'm starting to understand a little bit more, like it's just another lesson. And you can say everything is a lesson, but you know, for a lot of us that battle loneliness, like it's strictly just a lesson. For other people, you know, you will get to be in a relationship with these people that you have infatuations with, and it will be good. So sometimes there's the lesson and the celebration. But for a lot of us, it's just a lesson. It's just a lesson to help you grow more within yourself. It's just a lesson, and that's okay, you know. For many of us, I'm going to be optimistic and say for most of us, there will be a partner that comes along that gives you lessons and gives you celebration, that feels like you're not just suffering and learning. Like, no, like there's actual winning that's going on when these problems occur. And I know for a lot of us, like, that takes time. That takes time. That takes time, and for many of us it hasn't happened yet, and I understand, you know. But you have to realize, like, as intense as this is, and there are some days like that the only thought is going to be them. That's normal. Okay, there are people that are gonna say like it's crazy, like you gotta get over this, you gotta move on, you gotta drink, you gotta smoke, you gotta do whatever you do, but this is not normal. No, you're not crazy. Okay, you are feeling very raw, authentic emotions, and I know in the depth of it, you're like, nah, you know, she don't want me, man. Like I'm worthless, I'm useless. It's like, it's just mind chatter. It's a phase that we have to go through, we have to experience. We need that contrast, we need the negative with the positive, and that's not who you are. You are not worthless, you are not anything other than infinite, expressing itself in this very limited form. In this limited form, that means there are flaws, that means that there are problems, that means there are growing pains. In this one, you know, you might be saying, this has been a growing pain my entire life. When is it going to change? When is it going to be not just another lesson that I have to suffer from? When is it going to be a lesson that I can celebrate along the way? It'll happen when it's going to happen. And guess what? I know it's something you've heard before. You could say it's cliche, but why are things cliche? Because it's usually true. It's going to come when you least expect it. It's going to surprise you. You know, I'm coming from a place, I don't know. I'm coming from a place where I've had those surprises, you know, for great people in my life, great friends. It hasn't happened for a relationship yet, but, you know, part of you kind of knows like it's going to happen. I don't know when. It could be decades. It could be whatever. But as of right now, this video is catered to people that you know that right now it's just constantly building. It's building consciousness. You know, if you feel like you're very alone in life, that means God is really, really just trying to put you through the ringer right now. He's really grinding and churning out and burning up a lot of karma, you know, in a very short time period. So if you feel like you're suffering significantly and this is one of your problems, right, a lot of people, they might not experience this, you know, they might experience it in intervals throughout their life. You know, maybe it might not happen to them very young, but when they're older and they start getting a little bit wiser and they start losing people, you know, they start losing friends, family, it's like, that's usually when the higher nature starts kicking in. But for us, you know, for a lot of us, you know, you might feel like it's very unfortunate, very unlucky, but sometimes that karma is built up in a lot more compacted time periods. So it could be, you know, your soul burning off these lessons like all in a row. So it could literally feel like you're dying. Like you're actually, like, that's not even sarcasm. Like for 2 years straight, but mostly, I would say like a year and a half, like every day I thought I was dying. Like every day. Like my mind had no idea what was going on. There was so much consciousness that was exploding. There was so much karma being burned off. Experiences I've never experienced before. Nothing was even happening that much physically. This was all internal. I'm telling you, I have experienced some things that I know anybody that understands anything I'm saying, you've probably experienced it as well. I will get more into the dark night of the soul as I get more comfortable with these videos and decide to be a little bit more open with some stuff, so you can understand truly where I'm coming from and I've come from. But yeah, guys, if someone has entered your life where you can't stop thinking about them and you know you can't have them, like, it's okay. It's okay. That's just, it is what it is. It's going to happen, but I promise you there is a reason it is happening. And even if you're in the thick of it and you don't know the reason now, think of all the times in the past you've had these moments. And afterwards you're like, damn, like I really grew from that. Like, holy cow, I am so thankful that happened. In the middle of it, it was horrible, but now that I'm on the other side, like, I can't believe God could teach me so much with somebody that I barely even know. And it's really incredible when you kind of start to think about it. I never thought, dude, if I heard myself talking like this a week ago, I'd think like I'm delusional. Like there's just no way I'm talking like this already. Like I am going through it, man. You know, but now it's like even as I'm talking, it's like I'm thinking, and I really wanted some truth today. And now that I'm talking more about this, you know, with you guys, I'm like, yeah, like holy cow, like, you know, it might not go the way my mind wanted, but deep down, whatever realization keeps being downloaded through this current experience, like it's infinite. It's infinite. Like if you could sell this type of knowledge in a bottle, bro, nobody would be able to purchase it. It would be trillions and trillions of dollars, and even then I wouldn't even give it up for that much, because this is the highest form of knowledge, guys. When you really start to be able to look at the deepest parts of yourself, no matter how uncomfortable it is, once the suffering kind of passes and you start to understand yourself on a deeper level, you know, you start to understand the process God has for you a little bit more. The comfort and peace you start to get inside, I can't even tell you. And I don't even think I need to tell you. I think a lot of you guys already know what I'm talking about. You might not have it often, right? You might be in some unfortunate circumstances in your life where that peace, you know, has a hard time seeping through, but it's always there. It's always there. And, you know, realizing this stuff for very, very hard moments in your life when you really, really wish you could be with somebody, and it's, once again, it's just not going to happen. Like, you know, the downloads and the wisdom and the knowledge you're still getting from something appearance-wise that isn't going to happen. It's quite incredible. It's quite incredible. And you have to keep trusting. Like, I can't begin to tell you, there is truly there's no other way outside of continuing to trust God. You know, God brings us some pretty significant lessons, but if you really start to be conscious of what's going on in your inner space as these quote-unquote terrible things are happening to you, you realize, like, this is the most important thing to happen to me. This is absolutely something that needed to happen, so when I do have more of these situations in the future, I will be very well prepared for it. I will be very well prepared for it, and I will be extremely grateful every single time it comes around. No matter what I have to go through in the middle of it, I know for a fact I will be absolutely grateful. Did I mention everything I want to bring up? I guess, you know, something else I can talk about is, you know, it's about the same topic as, like, pay attention to, like, how obsessive your thinking becomes with this person, and, like, everything you start to do to try and get their attention. Like, that is, you have to be aware of these tendencies that you do. Maybe, you know, you start sitting up a little bit straighter, and you're talking a little bit lighter, and you start to feel like you're putting on a performance so they can like you. You know, and that's very uncomfortable, but it's not stuff that, you know, we even want to bring up to ourselves. But, you know, I can't tell you how often, like, I've been starting to do that. And, you know, before I just used to do it. Like, that's just who I was, right? That's who I thought I was. Like, but now it's like that there's this consciousness that has developed that is starting to view this body and this mind as a separate entity. It's like, you start picking up on these things a lot faster. You're like, oh my God, what am I doing? Like, this is so ridiculous. Like, holy cow. Like, I'm not even going to be with this person, and yet I can't help but to try and put on this costume to hope that maybe there's still a chance this person likes me. If someone is meant to be with you, right, and I would like to hope somebody has entered your life, a friend or, you know, I guess just a friend in this situation, but just somebody of some sort that God truly prescribed for you. You know that that's not what you have to do. You know that it's effortless. It's like when you guys are flowing in conversation, it's like an empty dance. It's like you're starting to, like, to sway and and sing in an empty dance, right? Like, you don't even have to do anything. Like, it's just effortless. Like, they just love everything you're saying, and you love everything you're saying. Even when you're disagreeing, you find it hilarious. Because that's how in sync a lot of you guys are. You know? So, as you're moving through your admiration for somebody, and it's not going to go the way you wanted it to go, try your best to be very aware of all the tendencies you start doing, how often you're thinking about them, how much you're trying to change, how much you're trying to prove yourself for somebody that, I hate to say it, is probably not thinking of you almost at all. And that's just an unfortunate truth that, you know, was very important for me to realize actually earlier this year. Is like, you could be literally connecting with somebody, you could be interacting with somebody, and yet the way they view you and you view them is a whole different experience. Like, there is no the way they view you is so much less than how you view them. And that's why a lot of us end up alone, because you realize, like, there's some people in your life, you would do anything for them. Like, you would do anything. Like, you would, and not out of a place of a lack of self-respect, just no, because of how much love you have to give. You would truly be there for them. You would do everything you can to make them feel better if you could. You know, all these different things. And there might be some unfortunate truths along the way where you start talking to people and you realize they don't feel that way about you at all. They have so much going on in their own lives, their own characters that they're obsessing about, they're thinking about, that they have problems with. You realize, oh my goodness, I wasn't even a thought. Or at least I wasn't that much of a thought. Nowhere near as much as, you know, they have been a thought to you. And that is very uncomfortable and very unfortunate to realize, but it actually, it's important. Like, it's important to understand that. It's important to, like, free yourself of people that are just not meant to be around. You know, I know the pain hurts, guys. Trust me. This has been a theme my entire life. It's been a theme my entire life where it feels like you're putting somebody a lot higher in your spirit than they are for you, and that's okay. Like, that's okay, because one day there will be somebody that comes around that wakes up thinking of you, and their last thought before bed is you, or you are always in their dreams, and it's gonna happen. But for now, you have to understand that these realizations, these teachings that you're being taught through these individuals that you cannot be with, that one day you're going to have your person and you're going to look back at all these periods of insurmountable pain, of so much excruciating agony inside, so much crying, so much wondering what is wrong with you and thinking you're cursed and all this. You have to realize you're going to look back at these moments one day in your life and be like, wow, like, if that didn't happen, I don't know where I'd be. How do I know that? Because you know that. Because you've already had those experiences in past experiences. Right? I know you've had it. Where you look back at someone that you were really, really just crushing on and losing sleep over, and now it's gone. Like, it's just gone. Like, it's like you almost have a hard time remembering it. Trust that you are exactly where you were at, whether you like that or not. Trust and accept that these very crucial, torturing lessons are building and evolving something inside you that is way greater than anything that this 3D materialistic world can bring you. Trust that this peace, that this inner peace that you feel from time to time in very great amounts is infinitely better than anything that you could achieve in this physical realm. And that these lessons and these things that I'm saying and these things you already know within yourself are only growing that serenity inside. Trust that, because you know it already. Take care. I hope you have a great day. And just know that better days are coming, but in moments like this and after conversations like this, better times are right now.